Meanwhile, Nebraska is under a state of emergency as 4 large wildfires rage across the central and western portions of the state. Combined, the fires have burned more than 750,000 acres and at least one person has died. Only one fire is more than 50% contained as red flag warnings are in effect, complicating the firefight. Residents were forced to leave their homes as evacuation orders were issued.
All heck kind of broke loose and we started moving equipment around and trying to get stuff out of the way. I mean, all this stuff that we've worked for the last 40 years for could have just been gone in a heartbeat.
And glory be by the hand of God, he saved this valley and our houses and our cattle. But never seen a fire of this scope, this size, this devastation, and the speed at which it traveled. My dad's about to turn 86 and he'd never seen a prairie fire such as this either.
Members of the National Guard are helping fight the fire. The state is also receiving aid from FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
No one wants to fight for Israel!
His hand! Oh! His hand!
After going through this very, very difficult last 2.5 years of watching innocents die, and hearing the generals ignore all of that and just go on as if America has done no wrong and has not laid out the red carpet for Israel to commit a genocide. I had heard enough, and with the Marine Commandant coming up next, I thought it was my time to speak.
Palestine will be free!
The orthopedic team, the orthopedic surgeon, mended my 2 bones, my ulna and radius, back together with some plates and screws. I wore my dress uniform to illustrate how a combat veteran is protesting this war, and I would think it would mean more from coming from a combat veteran. I've received so many amazing letters and I appreciate all of them, and I've definitely got a couple haters, a bunch of uniform nerds that think I was out of regulations and have disgraced the Marine Corps, but that's life. Listen, once a Marine, always a Marine. That's rhetoric that Marines say. Marines have the biggest chip on their shoulder. Marines are the best. They're the first to fight. All this and that. Trump, he's the commander-in-chief officially. But what's more important is right. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and Trump's wrong.
Homeland Security is not happy. Check out this clip. So according to Homeland Security, protesters surrounded ICE agents in the middle of an active investigation of an illegal immigrant from El Salvador who had a warrant out for his arrest. So eventually he did get arrested, but nonetheless, Homeland Security, they're still pointing at protesters for almost ruining this entire operation.
Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to have you. And we witnessed, I think you witnessed too, the Gardner brothers. Where the hell are they? They could dance. They moved those legs. I never saw anything like it, but they were terrific today at the Capitol, and I know you just got to witness them. But it's really wonderful being with you. We have a lot of things happening. I spent my whole day with the Irish. And I should have been spending it with the Iranians, but that's not, in a different sense. We're doing very well, I will say. We're knocking them for a loop. They can't have a nuclear weapon, and they now understand that very strongly. But we have a great country, and we have an unbelievable military. We have the most powerful military in the world, and people see that. And I rebuilt it in my first term, and I didn't know I'd have to use it so much in my second term. But the men and women of our military, I pay them my highest love and compliments. Thank you very much.
Moving on, Cuba is a nation in the dark, and the crisis is spiraling fast. Large parts of the island have been plunged into darkness after grid failure. It is the 3rd major blackout in just 4 months, exposing the deep fracture in Cuba's energy system and its economy. Power is returning, but slowly. with hospitals in select areas getting priority, while millions remain without electricity. Officials warn the system is so fragile it could collapse again at any moment. It is the result of years of decay. An aging grid, crumbling infrastructure, and severe fuel shortages have pushed the country to the edge. At the heart of the crisis is a geopolitical squeeze. The United States has tightened its energy pressure on Cuba, cutting off critical oil supplies and warning other countries against providing fuel. The fallout has been devastating for an economy already struggling to stay afloat. Washington is now turning up the heat further, calling for political and economic change in Havana, even floating the idea of a fundamental reset of power on the island. Back on the ground, the impact is brutal.
And Netanyahu's finger keeps going missing. Yep, the Huckabee video is fake, and that would mean Huckabee is in on this. Hit the subscribe button for more details.
Tensions in the Middle East have taken another dramatic turn after reports emerged that Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps has issued one of its most direct threats yet against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The language, as widely reported across regional and international media, is blunt, personal, and deeply provocative. It comes at a time when the wider confrontation involving Israel, Iran, and the United States has already pushed the region into one of its most dangerous moments in years. According to reports circulating on Sunday, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC, appeared to respond to speculation surrounding Netanyahu's status by issuing a chilling warning tied directly to his survival. The statement, as quoted in multiple reports, suggested that if Netanyahu remains alive, Tehran's campaign against him is far from over. Whether viewed as psychological messaging, strategic signaling, or a literal threat, the message is already reverberating far beyond the battlefield and diplomatic corridors.
The Middle East is exploding in chaos. Reports are pouring in that at least 200 American soldiers have been injured, with 13 confirmed dead and many others in serious condition. Well, these numbers, only scratch the surface of a rapidly escalating conflict. Across Kuwait, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia, US and Israeli forces have come under a wave of precision strike, missile attack, and drone raids. Bases that were once considered secured, they are now vulnerable, as Iran's military demonstrates its growing ability to hit the critical targets with deadly accuracy. And of course, in the meantime, the human cost, on the other hand, it is staggering. More than 1,300 Iranians have been killed, including civilians who are caught in the crossfire, along with casualties reported in Lebanon, in Israel, showing just how wide this conflict is spreading. The Strait of Hormuz, the world's key oil artery, it has become a tense flashpoint with fears that any disruption could send global oil prices soaring overnight. But wait. Here's the bombshell. US President Mr. Donald Trump, he admitted that he was caught off guard. Yes, according to his own statement, he claims that he was not briefed on Iran's retaliation, sparking intense criticism. Now here, military analysts and politicians alike, they are questioning the chain of command and leadership at a time when every second counts. Can you imagine this? Soldiers on the ground, sirens blaring, alarms screaming across the bases, missiles lighting up the sky, while political leaders, they scramble to respond. The chaos is not just physical here, it's psychological, shaking the confidence of allies and enemies alike. Ladies and gentlemen, every strike, every counterattack, every injured soldier, he sends a message. The war is escalating faster than anybody ever predicted. Drone swarms, missile barrages, and cyber attacks are now part of the daily reality, making the Gulf a ticking power keg. Now for Americans, this is more than numbers on the report. Families are worried, troops are on the edge, and the question on everybody's mind is simple. What happens next? Will retaliation continue? Will more US soldiers be hurt? Could this spiral into full-scale regional war? One thing is clear here, this is no longer a contained conflict. The Middle East is on fire, the skies are dangerous, and the stakes are higher than ever before.